I had a totally different intro and vision for this video, but I changed my mind last minute. I'm going to do an infomercial instead. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, are you tired of buying ice every 24 hours for your cooler and also showing up at the gas station and worrying whether they have the right size or enough ice for you in the first place? And are you tired of showing up at a campsite and everybody's cooler looks alike and you can't tell one from the other? And also, are you tired, and don't tell me this hasn't happened to you, frozen or defrosted ice showing up in your Ziploc bags, messing with your chicken, your meats, and everything? Oh yes, in that case, if you're feeling my hurt, you understand the purpose of the Alta 50 from Goal Zero. This thing is what we're looking at today, and this is going to be awesome at your campsite, your base camps, for RVing, for van lifing. You just plug it into your power supply or the wall and you're good to go. This model that we have right here is the Alta 50, guys, and there's an Alta 80 out there, a slightly larger model, which has a fridge and fridge function running simultaneously. This one, you choose one or the other. It goes all the way up from 68 to -4, and it holds the temperature pretty darn well. $800, by the way, for this thing, and it has a 53-liter capacity, roughly around 75 cans of Coke, which is more than sufficient for most 4-5 head families going camping or whatever. Removable baskets, temperature sensors right there, LED light is right there, and there's a drain plug at the bottom if you need to. This is just a extra temperature probe that I put in here so I can compare the temperatures, and they're actually pretty good. Spring-loaded doors, door hinges right there. The rubber gaskets are really nice as well. I don't see this deteriorating over time or in the next few years. Really nice and solid. And they also have bare locks right here. It doesn't help with the seal, by the way. It doesn't add any kind of compression, downward compression, but it just keeps things safe. There's locks, lock holes for that. And the control panel, let me run through the controls real quick. Power, Bluetooth connectivity for your app, the internal lighting, as well as eco mode right here. This runs the compressor a little bit more efficiently when it's not being open as often. You can change the modes right here for Fahrenheit and Celsius. And right here is the battery protection mode. Like you say, if you plug this fridge into your car's 12 volt or your vehicle's 12 volt outlet, this protects the battery from drainage too much. Right now I have this connected to the Goal Zero Yeti 500, perfectly fine. You can plug this into a wall as well. And speaking of plugs, there's two sides to it, one or two. You can use it on either side, so there's a nice option there. Looking around this thing too, it is nice and clean. On the back there's more venting. It uses an eco-friendly coolant for this, or refrigerant, which is really nice. And speaking of coolant, when this thing is refrigerating, like around 35 degrees is what I usually set it to, the power draw is around 8 watts, which is pretty darn awesome. So like say this power pack, which is the 500, the middle of the series, there's I think the 300 and the 700. This thing can last about 2 to 3 days. In freezer mode though, this would probably be more like 16 hours before it runs dead. So something to bear in mind there. A quick look at the insulated cover that Goal Zero provides for the Alta 50. The Alta 80 also gets the same thing, but I remember there is a problem with that. It shares the same lid like this, single one, but it clashes with the left-right fridge freezer door. So, you know, I hope Goal Zero fixes that. Not a problem on the 50 though. Two pockets right here to store your knickknacks and also charging cables, whatever you want to put in here. Tie downs for you, front and back, right here, 4 of them. For you to tie it down to wherever you like on your truck or wherever, to keep it safe. Venting all around for the motor and things like that. Clear screen for the touch screen, and also openings for both sides of the charging ports as well as the handles. And then there's a zipper. The zippers all around to open the lid. All you have to do is really zip this back, and this thing is already open. Flip this Velcro up, and inside you can see it also provides some insulation, kind of like your lunch box, and also to protect this from scratches. You know how if you roughhouse this thing, it just keeps it safe. I tend to keep this on most of the time, just because. If you're wondering what the underside looks like, this is slightly thicker for more scratch resistance. Obviously, since this is a freezer slash fridge, it's important to talk about how good the cooling efficiency is. And thank goodness, in terms of the pros, this is really good at it. So in terms of speed, I've been able to get this from 65 degrees internally to around 33 degrees, 32 degrees, you know, like nice cold temperature in 33 minutes which was really nice and fast. And getting it down to 0 from 33 was another like 12 minutes, which is pretty darn fast. Now, in terms of how well this thing seals and stores the temperature and keeps it cold and all that, here's what I did. I dropped the temperature to 32 degrees and had this sitting in the basement, which had a 67-degree ambient temperature. I unplugged it and went to sleep at night, and then woke up and the temperature was starting to creep around 36 degrees, which in my opinion is pretty darn impressive. I know for a fact that this thing is tough. I've roughhoused it, I've stubbed my toes on it, and I thought I broke my toe. And the other question that popped in my head when I first took this all aluminum built out of the box was, can this withstand a sit test? All of us sit on our coolers, right? Can this even handle it? This looks like it will collapse, but check this out, guys. This passes it. No wobble, no sounds whatsoever, no warpage. And I think 2 or 3 people can share on this seat, no problem whatsoever. So thumbs up. Now for the negatives, and this one is very obvious because compared to the regular cooler, the price, guys, $800, oh my goodness, is a lot to swallow for most. But if you can appreciate the robustness and the whole purpose of this kind of devices, there's so many on the market out there that allow you to, you know, plug into a power supply or the wall and keep it compact and built pretty darn tough, is really great for, like, you know, long-term camping, or, you know, you take this on an RV or whatever, and this would really be more than sufficient for most of your refrigeration / freezing needs. Another big number to consider is the weight. 50 pounds empty. Once this is loaded up, it's really hard to port. It's not portable. Yes, it is meant to be stationary for the most part, but when you need to move it, even this thing, the $20 cooler from Coleman right here, has wheels with the handle. I wish Goal Zero would have. $800, guys, right? You should be getting those kind of exclusive, well, it's not exclusive, you should be getting those kind of mod cons in the first place, isn't it? And last but not least is the app, or more precisely, connectivity between the app and the devices in question. So I've seen this for years on forums and also on review sites where Goal Zero owners complain about connectivity issues with the app and the whatever devices they're using. Like in this case, I can be connected one moment on the app, and then if I switch to another app on my phone or just turn it off and then come back to it like literally immediately, it will show disconnected, which is really ridiculous. And then sometimes it'll take forever to reconnect, or even worse, it'll ask you to repair it with the device. Same thing with the Goal Zero power supply there. It seems like, I don't know what it is, I hope it's a software issue, but it also seems like Goal Zero / Yadda might have been using a cheaper modem for these things. So something to bear in mind there. If you use the control panel at the front, for the most part you can control the device, but for some of us who like to remotely see what this thing is doing, or if you want to control it from your car or your tent or whatever, that's kind of a letdown. Well, that's it for this quick review of the Goal Zero Alta 50. And if you found this video helpful in any way, that's my whole point of making this. If you found it helpful, thumbs up, subscribe, reshare this with your friend, get the word of TNTT out there. So, and I know $800 is a lot of money, guys. Yeah, it's really hard to stomach, but if you can manage it, this thing is really robust, and the cooling efficiency and the retention is pretty darn spot on. And the fact that you can plug it in pretty much anywhere and run it through your power supply battery pack, and that runs from a solar panel for infinite power, is really nice to have at your campsite or whatever. But anyways, remember to come back and watch more videos. Thank you so much for being here, and remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? If you haven't seen the news, the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love you all very much. Peace out and God bless.